Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 11th of March 2024 here in Auckland, New Zealand, and it's time for a new Monday mantra. Lots of things have happened over the week for us to recap and review and re-evaluate so that we understand what the energy is asking of us. Now, if you're listening to this on the Beacon app or on Spotify or on YouTube, all I ask of you, which is free for you to do, is to tag, share, let people know that this app exists. I keep it at a very affordable cost of $60 a year. Most meditation apps that do not have a teacher or a practitioner behind the whole movement of what you need to be doing charge about $20 to $25 per month because they have big machines in the background and also the platforms which take a huge percentage, but I keep the payment gateway off the platforms, and this means I need volume, which is where your word of mouth comes in. But we have a new Monday mantra, and a lot happened last week. So when you listen to these Monday mantras, the more and more you listen to them, the more you can see the transition and the chapters all making sense one after the other, the overlap, and then you can see what's new and the cyclic nature. Sometimes the Monday mantras, especially if you are following the homework and really using your spiritual intuition to locate where you are in terms of your journey, the Monday mantras will be really easy to find in your life. And if not, that's okay, because you're meant to also be looking with curiosity throughout your week as to how do I apply the Monday mantra. Sometimes they will be really kind of impractical, but more thought, coming back to that thought process, and sometimes they will be really practical Monday mantras. It just depends what the energy is of the week. So last week I set the Monday mantra as I am generous with what I give, and every interaction is giving me a gift. I have got a huge story behind this. So the weekend before this Monday mantra, I was communicating with a friend of mine. And this friend of mine, we are connected very deeply, but we don't see each other a whole lot because of where each other lives. And that weekend, I decided to message this friend. And I hadn't spoken to this friend in about a month. And this friend started to tell me things about what was going on within the family. And so it felt really heavy what was going on within this person's family. And then on Monday, when the Monday mantra came out, after that, I started to feel really anxious, and I was detaching from everybody, clients of the week, and my partner, everyone around me, to see, is this mine or is this somebody else's? And I then, later in the day, got a message from my friend to say that their parent had taken their own life that morning. And why this relates to I'm generous with what I give and every interaction is giving me a gift is that over the weekend when I was messaging this friend, and I have to be honest with you, when I have finished working for the week, I can often go into this shell. Like, I don't really go many places over the weekends. I'm pretty much at home. And that is because I need to regenerate myself. And so helping people on weekends can be difficult for me because I've usually at the end of the week have nothing to give anybody. I need to regenerate myself. But that weekend I had the ability to communicate with this person, and that person needed me, and I was able to have the capacity to be there for that person and for them to feel comfortable to give me such huge personal news on that just a day we'd been communicating Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday with that horrible news. And I was thinking, this is so interesting. This person means a lot to me. They've never seen me as a client before. We have a different type of friendship. But I could be there as the friend that I am able to be there for the people personally in my life. And that is a gift because I do have spiritual gifts, but this person actually needed some of that, but more of the support at that time. And so when I said in the Monday Mantra, when we think about our power, we need to know what we have to offer, I found that going through last week, I was really put in positions to think about what I can offer. And every single one of us has something to offer. So I questioned, what are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your skills? And being generous with what you have to offer. Normally, I can be very selfish on the weekends because I'm tired. And that goes for anybody, even my own personal family. I can only give when I've got something to give. But I was very generous last week with what I could give and who I could give to. And that is also because I had a limited amount of clients last week, which was on purpose. I didn't know why I'd done that or why I'd asked Kieran to do that, but it was actually preparing me for being able to be there for myself and others during, for that particular friend, one of the worst things you could ever imagine happening in your life. So what did you discover about your gifts, talents, and skills? Were you the supporter or the supported last week? Being generous, how were you generous, or who was generous towards you? Because the generosity will be reciprocated back to you. So I'm going to go to my notes now. So every week at the end of the day, I've been keeping like 3-word notes on my phone so I remember. And when I'm doing these Monday mantras, I can go back and see how everything panned out. And Monday, I had that news about my friend's father. I also had a situation of an ego triggering situation where I believe Kieran had said something about someone emailing me via Soul33 and relaying a message. And this message was not a very nice message, a message from someone who's never had a session with me, a message from someone who doesn't know me, basically calling out their credentials and their experience to try and make themselves feel better, that these are my gifts and these are my skills, and clearly Gaia doesn't have this much experience as me. I'm not sure why they had to do that, but I didn't look at it from their perspective. I looked at it as, this is coming back to me being triggered by this email that Kieran brought to my attention, of someone feeling that they had to come back to say how much power they had. And then all of this stuff of me being generous with my time and sending energy to my friend's family and my friend to help them through such a traumatic time. Then the next day was so interesting. So processing my own little bruised ego situation, helping my friend on Monday. The next day, I messaged one of my friends about something, and this person is a busy person. And I said, I didn't even ask them whether they could talk. I just was saying, this is what's been happening. It's so interesting. I'm, had ego trigger yesterday, and then my friend's father passed away, and it's, coming into my field of helping people, but helping people because I want to and because I can. This person said, I'm going to give you a call. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, they don't have to do this, but this is amazing. So they Zoomed me just so that I could share how I felt. That was a gift for me, to be able to speak things out loud, because I was trying to also help my friend analyze what had happened to their parent. And I needed the support of another medium because I had my thoughts, and getting that person's insight was helping both of us get answers for my friend. So it's like my medium friend and I were getting information for my friend's parent who had passed away, but we didn't have to do that for that person. And that naturally happened. I had incredible clients last week, really interesting scenarios around the stuckness in their relationship from past life blueprints, enabling them still to be repeating that pattern, but also that relationship blueprint, when your relationship isn't got the traction or the closeness that you want, it's directly correlating to your purpose and your gift. Like, your gift gets stuck. And I noticed this through clients last week and was noticing the connection. I also was having dreams on Tuesday around walking away from certain people in my life. And obviously I don't control my dreams. It's coming from my subconscious and sometimes messages from spirit. I was walking away from someone I knew really well. And this in itself was an indication, coming back to the Monday mantra, of meaningful interactions. This person, obviously, I dreamt about it because it's something that's been on my mind, doesn't see me for who I am, in my opinion, and therefore having interactions with this person is not going to be the same anymore. So that was kind of happening too. And then through the middle of the week, which I'm now going to keep going through the Monday mantra, is we looking at interactions closely so that we can discover things about ourselves and to feel confident and courageous in who we are, which means sometimes when I say things like that, you get triggered of the opposite because you're meant to come back to feeling that courage, to feeling confident, and showing you that you are safe to step into your desires without fear that you're not going to be seen or received, and ego comes into play. So that's why I started off the week with someone, coming to us with their fueled by their ego, triggering mine to go back to a place of, oh God, what do I have to offer? That sort of thing. And then I said, if you are seen as the source of what you do, people will return to you. Give without expectations, receive without expectation. This is interesting. When we are in certain industries, and all of us are doing our things, right? You might have accountants, chiropractors, doctors, spiritual healers, mediums, coaches, interior designers, insurance agents. There's many of us, right? But we are all the source of what we do because all of us have a different take on how we do it. And that is what I meant by that. Whatever you are doing, you need to know what that gift is and how it's your take on it. Step up and see the space you are filling. You might need some help, support, and companionship. Ask for what you need by taking charge of getting these met. This was so hilarious how this came up for me. I was supported so much last week. It was amazing. So my friend, other medium friend who was helping me decipher information that I was receiving from spirit around my father's friend, my friend's parent, and I then was receiving support because I had a bit of a spanner in the works, I think around Thursday, where I received an unexpected call, which was changing something that I fundamentally haven't had an opportunity to figure out yet. It put me on the spot, but I saw the gift in that. It put me on the spot because someone was wanting me to do something, but they wanted to change how I was going to do it at very last minute. And this is where I needed to call in some support and help because I needed help to rethink my formula. This is a business thing. And I really had my needs met with all of these people stepping forward to go, right, well, we're going to figure this out. This is actually an opportunity for you to be seen doing something different. So when I said last week, you might receive divine messages from a stranger, so be sure to look for signs. I laughed when I reread that because this call that I received is from someone I've never spoken to in my life, I have never met, and this person, although caused me a little bit of stress initially, it was a divine message on the tail end of all of this other stuff that was happening during the week that was changing my direction. I said here, we're being asked to socialize and go on an adventure. And if you can't create this adventure, create lightness, laugh, joy, and enjoy your interactions that you do have. For me, the socialization, I've changed quite a bit. Like normally, like I tell you, I am quite reclusive. I do have friends, by the way. It's just that after my job, I like to be insular. But I met so many wonderful, warm, nurturing people throughout my week that really made me feel like, oh my gosh, I've got a friend in you. Even though I had a dream about a particular friend that I was like, okay, interaction's going to change with that person. But I found that the social aspect for me was, you don't want anything from me, you just appreciate me. Things are clearing and aligning, so be grateful and listen to your intuition. It's funny, I forgot it was International Women's Day, even though I'd put it in the Monday mantra on the actual 8th. And that day, I actually went and got body work from my female practitioner, and it was a very feminine type of body work massage. And it was like she really honored me as a woman, and I really honored her for being fully in her gift to be able to work on parts of my body that I would never let anybody else touch normally. And it was really that feminine appreciation. Now, as we moved throughout the week, I've been questioning myself. And this is why when I put these micro lessons up, I'm really talking to myself. It's, if you want to listen, you can absolutely listen. Are you showing up as the best version of yourself? And this ties again to your gift. We don't just come into a gift and then not nurture it. We need to nurture it every day for it to become more. And this is the discipline. It's not forcing it. It's about loving who you are and knowing that you are the source of what you do. Even if your close friend is in the same industry, you're both going to do it differently. It's like having a clinic and there are different doctors working there. Every doctor is going to have their patients because that patient is going to see the light in them. So are you showing up as the best version of you? Then I laughed at this. I actually forgot also that it was Mahashivaratri over the weekend. So that is a very important festival of Shiva, the dark night of Shiva. And when this the spiritual growth card came up in the soul progression digital card deck, I've put here, when we embrace our gifts and appreciate the gifts of others, we grow spiritually. And we do, because we're not just going, oh, look at me, I'm so wonderful. We are going, I'm honoring you for helping me decipher information from the soul to convey to my friend who needs help. You are honoring me by working on my body, and I'm honoring you to be fully present in what you do and how you do it. And when we realize that we are unique, but also that our gift comes through us, there is humility. Like, my personality is my personality. I can't change that so much. It's just who I am, and people are going to like that or not. But whatever gift is coming through you, it's unique to you. It's actually quite put down, I think, when you say to somebody, I want to be like you, or I want to find out how you are the way that you are. Find out about you. Love yourself. There's always going to be someone that's more successful, but that's why we shouldn't compare, because if we all compare, there's going to be someone more beautiful, someone more successful, someone with this and someone with that. We are on our own journey, and we're allowing ourselves to share the gift that we have, regardless of whatever that is, with people, and honor them when they give it to us, and not be in this place of ego, of fear that, oh my God, they're going to be better than us. If you are both equal in the sense of sitting back and allowing to receive, you are going to spiritually grow yourself, because you're going to be getting something from them that you needed. You are the source of what you do and how you do it, and that's your spiritual growth when you know your worth in your gifts. And this card came up to remind us that your spiritual growth is naturally happening as you step into your power. Then we moved into the next micro lesson. Do you feel like you're not being seen, or you're picking up the slack of somebody else? And when we empower ourselves and ask for what we need, we will realize that we can't take each other for granted. It's a choice and a gift to have each other. It's a choice and a gift to have each other. I think a lot of us start taking things for granted, but especially within families, because we all know most cases that person is always going to be around. But in the case of my friend's parent, that person's role in this life is completed. It's just the connections were changing last week. Karma was balancing last week. Gifts have an opportunity to shine in the face of adversity or when under pressure. Gifts have an opportunity to shine in the face of adversity or when under pressure. People come in to support you and help you see that you matter and that you are loved. I found that it was interesting that I wrote that as the extended meaning of the Monday mantra, because it was through adversity that most people come together. When someone has passed away or someone is hurt or someone is upset, it's when you usually go in a more vulnerable state to be received, because you're not thinking that you can handle everything. That's what I meant by that. People come in to support and help you to let you know that you are loved and that you matter when you drop your guard and you're like, this is me. This is the best version of myself. That's not a false pretense version of myself. It is just how I am right now. And that may be strong, or that may be I need some help because I'm struggling. We sometimes don't realize it, but when we call people into our lives, we have the ability to let them shine. Parents will know this. Calling children in. I have seen it through my own eyes of adversity, pressure, and opportunity this week. There was an opportunity to have every interaction count and for all of us to step into our gifts when we draw the connection, to allow people in to help or for you to help them. I just found last week really how I saw everything unfold made so much sense to me. As we got to the weekend, I can see how also I was challenged to push my gift in different ways. People are asking me to look at it from different ways. And it was in a change of perception. And Friday, like just before the weekend, I started hearing from people who I hadn't heard from in a while. And it was like that last week. People were I said somewhere, I can't remember where I've said this, things that have been lying dormant in us, I think it was last week's Monday mantra, all starting to come up. This is including certain people. I went to the supermarket. This is very unlike me. And this was a gift too. It was very busy at the time I went. I was very distracted. I had a lot on my mind. And I was finished shopping and I came out and I was walking towards my car, and there was a couple who didn't speak English and they were trying to grab my attention. I looked at them and they pointed at the ground and I dropped my wallet. And I was thinking, what a disaster that would have been if I'd lost everything. I've just got a new driver's license, new credit card, all of those sort of things. And that gift and that interaction of that person's gift was honesty to stop me and say, even though they couldn't communicate in English, you pick it up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. It was, I think if you look back last week, you will be seeing these gifts and these very, very important interactions that were coming in. And I was getting messages over the weekend also of people giving me messages I wasn't expecting, but I loved it because it helped me understand the things that I was experiencing last week. This messages from strangers, even though they weren't strangers, they were people I hadn't heard from in a while, reminding me, triggering things inside me that needed to be healed or needed to help build my courage. A lot to think about. I'm always here for you, and I am only one person. I'm doing my very best to see as many people as I can. We're not booking in advance this year, just so that I'm working in a way that is sustainable for me. But with my work, I'm not someone that you need to see often. Like, I will see my massage therapist and pay $180 each week or every alternate week. You are only going to see me once in a while. And that is all you need for your soul progression, because this is about you and you taking steps forward and being disciplined in your spiritual practice. Join a wait list. The timing of your sessions will be divinely orchestrated. There will be things that will be happening in your life that need to happen before you see me. But if you need more acute help, mini readings and personalized meditations are the best way to get healing and guidance in a quicker period of time. Remember, the app is here to support you, and if you need help to renew or become a member and you need the external link or some support, please don't suffer in silence. Email Karen, soul33@gmail.com, and she will help you. Moving into this week's Monday mantra. I follow through with my word as it is an active prayer for my future. I follow through with my word as it is an active prayer for my future. The energy of Lord Shiva is around at the moment because of this dark night of Shiva over the weekend in conjunction with the new moon, because the new moon is no moon. And this is why you've got the Kingdom of Shiva as one of your homework meditations this week. Whether you believe or not, it doesn't matter. It's about the energy. And he's the creator of the universe. He's the destroyer. So this is why it's like all this karmic stuff. You know, when I was thinking about the loss of my friend's parent, it was like, that's a huge karmic cut. Like, it's like, you know, those things when you're on film sets and they go, cut. It was like, cut, job's done, you're off. And now this family's left to connect. And that person was telling me their family's reconnecting in ways they haven't done in a long time. So interactions that were really meaningful, funeral, meaningful interaction. So I'm looking at how the Monday mantra applied to everything. So that new moon energy is still lingering. So this is why I've said with your Monday, your homework, your new moon meditation do until Tuesday, and then it changes to the Sanat Kumara meditation. And we are still uncovering parts of ourselves in the form of gifts, messages, divine truths. And this week, we must follow through with our word. I've got an adventurous week this week. So the adventure part of my week last week was in all the things that were going on. But this week, it's more action. You're being called to act this week. Clear boundaries being set around people's expectations, being in the way of being able to shine and be yourself. So every word you say this week, because that new moon energy is still there, and this is always, but it's particularly what Spirit wanted me to tell you this week. Anything you say, anything you write, anything you think is a prayer. I was out end of last week with poster paper. I've got so many notes. I went to the hairdresser. I was sitting there with my notes. I've been making notes on my phone because I was forced to rethink things last week, rethink in how I communicate because of this call that I had from this stranger. So all of this communication is going to be revealing your abilities and strengthening you. And all of your communication will be affirmations of your story. So be mindful what you say, and be mindful that you say what you mean so that there are no other interpretations being made from what you are saying about yourself or whatever you're doing. Collaboration comes in this week as an extension of last week's energy of having gifts come out, sharing interactions, all of that. As you collaborate, remember it's a team effort. What are you all working towards? Is it a clear path forward with you all involved? Are you being understood within your team? The whole month is about claiming power, and this can mean the birth of something new to discover that power. There are responsibilities or consequences to what you put out there, out into the universe, out to your community, out onto any platform that you're on or whatever. People are going to need you and want to learn from you in some way. This could be in a micro way, this could be in a macro way. They're going to need your help, and you need to be ready and be in this position with what you say you will assist them with. The follow through is really important this week. Long-term commitment is being required of you as future progress is being addressed now. Transformation is taking place this week, and it may be under the surface, like you don't know what this transformation is because you are weighing up options, and the ripple effect is being created, and it's going to come up later in the year. But your future rides on how you can help others and your ability to follow through like a breaking wave and that cycle to start again. This is why Lord Shiva's energy has come in, because last week we were in that feminine kind of creative power, and this whole month we are. But Shiva, without the masculine polarity, we can't create until something is destroyed, something ends. And in the case of my friend, it was a life that ended, but a new one begins for them as a family connected. Very interesting energy. Remember, I'm here for you, soul33@gmail.com. If you need any help, personalized meditations, mini readings, join the waitlist. It will be the right time when you see me. And keep healing yourself. Keep being disciplined. Even if you don't like the meditations that I've set for the homework, even if you don't understand them, even if you can't see anything and you don't know whether it's working, it is. You don't need to understand sometimes, you just need to trust. Do them anyway and just see how you feel. Your Monday mantra is, I follow through with my word as it is an active prayer for my future. I follow through with my word as it is an active prayer for my future. Be careful what you say and do what you say that you're going to.